All right, fantastic. What I'm going to cover is some scripts, dialogue, and tactics for attracting top agents into EXP. The first conversation is going to be around what I call C.A.T.S, C-A-T-S, which stands for complement, attract, take away, and schedule. And so what I mean by that is, we want to grow. We want to grow with good people. I don't think it's about, spamming. I don't think it's about mass cold calling. We don't want everybody here. We are not a body shop. And so, sometimes people just get into, how many people can I call? I think there's an awful lot of value in going at a slower pace and having a reason for calling somebody. And so the C stands for complement. And I think you should know why you would want to be in business with somebody before you make the first contact. And so there's a wide array of people that I would want to be in business with. And so I want to put them into categories or buckets. And that way there it's easier for me to stay on track with my conversation. So let's say, let's start with, the largest producers in your area, right? So let's say I wanted to contact the people that would be iconic agents in the area where you operate. So my compliment to them, my compliment statement is going to be relative to them being iconic in the local marketplace. And so I don't do scripts in that I don't tell you what to say exactly word for word, because I believe that a lot of it should be from you. It should be in your style. I'm just trying to give you broad strokes, right? So, if two people should call the same individual, the two calls should sound different. If we just gave a script and everyone was reading the same script, it would sound more mechanical. Everyone would be saying the same thing. And if someone said no to one person, in all likelihood, they would say no to the other person, right? So I think it's important that we all be able to personalize in our own style. But if I were calling someone who was an iconic agent in a local marketplace, my compliment statement might go something like this. Hey John, this is Dave Gagnon with eXp Realty. The reason why I'm calling you is, obviously you're an iconic figure here in the local MLS. Geez, how long have you been in business? 15, 20 years now? And so that would be, the way I would get into a conversation with someone. Or, congratulations on, being the Realtor of the Year last year. Would you mind sharing with me, what led to that last year? Or congratulations on, doubling the size of your team last year, whatever it is, right? So, why is it that I would be interested in them? That's going to be the compliment, right? It's not going to be, hey, you're a sharp dresser, right? It's going to be a business compliment. So, if I'm calling top agents, my compliment is going to be around their productivity and their achievement. If I were calling someone, let's say that was a prior member of the board, right? It might be that, they served as president last year. My compliment might be, congratulations on being, voted in as the president and being one of the most, respected and influential people in the board. And so that's my compliment. If I were calling someone who I've done business with, right? I think cooperative sales, co-brokes, are the most natural way for you to grow your company within the company. And so I don't want to attract everyone to the company, right? If I did a transaction with someone and they were a horrible person to do business with, I don't want to bring that person into the company. I want to be selective. But if it was a great transaction, right? Think about what made it a great transaction. Maybe it was that they were a pleasure to work with. Maybe it was that they demonstrated such high professionalism during the transaction. Maybe they were a tough negotiator, and you just got to throw a kudos to them, for being, working so hard for their clients. Maybe they were the ones that kept the deal together as it was falling apart. Maybe they were able to salvage it. Whatever it is, right? And so, think about the people you've done business with, and who you would want here and why. And I think that's an easy conversation, right? And so it's a compliment. The next part of C.A.T.S is the attraction statement. The attraction statement is, why do I think that they might be attracted to EXP? Why might they be open to what we're doing here? And so again, this is something you should think about. Sometimes it's for the exact same reason that you're here. Sometimes it may be for something that you don't see as the number one reason why someone should be interested, right? So let's say I'm 35 years old, and I'm doing good production. If I'm talking to someone who's 60 years old, one of the attraction statements that I might throw out there would be, around having a plan to have income as part of their exit strategy in the business, right? If I'm talking to someone who is doing, maybe a couple of $1 million a year, and to make a good living in this area, maybe it should be $4 or $5 million a year. And so my attraction statement might be around generating more leads to be able to double the amount of transactions, right? So think about what the attraction statement would be. But the attraction statement should be, why would they be interested in learning more about EXP? The T stands for takeaway. Takeaway is a takeaway statement. And for me, I've been doing recruiting and attraction for an awfully long time. And what I learned early on is, when I talk to people about meeting with me to hear why they would want to, potentially change companies, they always said the same thing. I'm not interested. I'm not changing companies this year. I love my broker, those kind of things. And that would be the end of my effort, right? I didn't even have a reason to call them back that year, because, they already told me they're not making a change that year. So, that really slowed me down in my initial efforts. And so what I started doing was, I started saying that as part of my process in trying to get the appointment. And so I would say the compliment, I would say the attraction statement, and then I would say this, and this you can use word for word. I know you're probably not thinking about making a move this year. However, right, so that's your takeaway statement. I know you're not thinking about making a move this year, or I know you're probably not thinking about making a move this year. However, and then the next part of it is customized to you. I'll tell you what I say often, right? So Tom, I know you weren't thinking about making a change before the call, or I know you probably weren't looking to make a change before I called you. However, everything I've heard about you is you're definitely a business pro. And as a smart business person, I'm sure you want to at least know the details before you say no to something. So that would be my takeaway statement, right? So I'm acknowledging that they're probably not interested in hearing about it. And I am identifying with them that they're probably smart enough to at least know what they're saying no to before they say no. So that has worked really well for me. And then the schedule is the actual process of setting the next time to have a communication. Right. So I think a lot of people make a mistake because they call someone and they're expecting to get right into it off of the call. And really, if you think about, when people call you when you weren't expecting a call, how you feel, right? So most of us, even if we weren't doing anything, we feel like it's impinging on our time. And so I always want to set a time to be able to have a meaningful conversation. And so if they're local, I want to do it face to face, or I want to get them into a lunch and learn. If they're not local, I want to be able to get them into a webinar. I want to get them into the cloud office. I want to get them to watch a video from YouTube, something like that, right? And so in the schedule portion, I'm looking to get some time from them. And I like the process of using an alternate choice conversation. And so I am not asking for an appointment. Once I've gone through the takeaway, I then go into, I have some time tomorrow in the morning, or I have some time on Monday next week. What's better for you? And so I offer them something in the near future that is very specific, and then I give them something that's a little bit in the future um, that is more vague, right? And so if they agree to either one or give me a counter to those times, they've said yes to the appointment, right? So there's a higher chance of getting to yes than asking, will you set a meeting with me? So assumptive close, alternative choice, and then that's either going to move you into the appointment or they're going to give you their first objection, right? And so the most common one, they'll come back and say, I'm not planning on making a change this year. I love it here. And then I'm just going to go right back to my takeaway statement. And I'm going to say, Tom, I fully understand that. That's why I said what I did. However, you have to admit, as a smart business person, it makes sense to know what you're saying no to. All I need is 10 minutes of your time, quick cup of coffee, so you'll fully understand. Or I can do it now if now's convenient, right? So I'll take the 5 or 10 minutes now if they're willing to give it. If not, I want to book it. And so I'm going to run through a couple of examples of the complement, attract, takeaway, and schedule in here. I'm happy to do it with a couple of people in here with role play. If you would like to do it. If not, I can just do it against the vacuum. Is there anyone in here who would like to role play this with me? I'll make the call to you, and you play the person on the other end of the call. Okay, I'm just going to. Sure. And who is that?
It's Tom.
Hey, Tom. Fantastic. So let's set the expectation. Let's say you are a person who is running a small team. You have one buyer's agent. You do about $15 million a year. Is that a good role play for you?
Sure.
Okay. And so it's going to go like this. Ring ring.
Hi, this is Tom Borders.
Hey, Tom. Dave Gagnon over here at EXP. How you doing today?
Good. Just a little bit busy. How can I help you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, the reason why I was calling you, Tom, is I was just looking at last year's numbers, and it looks like you guys are just absolutely killing it. Congratulations on having a great year.
Thank you.
And obviously, you're the kind of person that I think could be a significant player in expansion plans that we have for the area. And I'd love to have a short conversation with you, be able to show you what that's all about. I know you're not looking to make a change this year, but as a smart businessman, I'm sure you would have to agree that knowing the details before you say no would be smart.
True. I don't have a lot of time right now, but just tell me a little bit more.
Sure, and I want to make sure I don't waste your time or my time. Is it better for you for us to take about 5 or 10 minutes right now, or could we set some time for tomorrow morning or early next week?
5 or 10 minutes would be okay right now.
Okay, fantastic. And then I would go right into it. And I'll do that as a separate part of what we're doing in the training today. I just wanted to go through that as a methodology.